Well, he had his shirt buttoned all the way up, and he was very, very polite, and he was, very respectful.
I thought he was he's very, very polite, got very good manners, felt like he was a nice kid.
My first impression of him, he was way too polite, which is a good thing, but at the same time, it was not what I expected.
Did you ever think that from the time you first meet a boyfriend of your daughter that you think you ever get to this point?
At first I didn't think, no. It's like they were, dating for a while. They'd known each other and dating for a while before we met him. And nice kid who it would bring it on to marriage, but probably at first not.
I think you always, hope the best for your daughter when they do meet a nice guy and whatever, but no, not immediately. But after they were together for a while, we kept saying, when are you two going to get engaged? When's this going to happen? And so, we were getting kind of like, it'd be nice to happen soon.
We were together for around 2 years, and my parents are from Buffalo, and so we went up there for a 4th of July reunion. And my mom was at that time, my aunt and uncle were building a house, and I have aunts and uncles that live up there, but they wanted us all to be in the same area. So my Uncle Pete's house, they got trailers, for a family of 4, and all of us stayed in the trailers. And he stayed in the trailer, my parents with the curtain, with the bed. My sister and I where the table folds out, and him on the couch for 4 days. And my parents are man, they were just waiting for him to be that's it, I can't handle this. And my family's so huge, so, he put up with a lot that weekend. So that was kind of, for them, I think the turning point that they're wow, he's a keeper if he's sticking around for this,
We had a family vacation up in Buffalo, and we stayed in a trailer on my brother's property, and that poor kid endured. And so when he was able to get through that, we knew he was going to stick around. So yeah,
he would never date anybody for a long period of time. So when it was about a year or so, and then we figured, okay, this must be it. And then all his friends who gradually got married one by one, and they kept telling him, Ryan, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
If it lasts with Ryan over a year, it had to be serious. So after about the 2nd year, we kind of figured that this might be the one.
We were up in Buffalo, went to see a football game in October. And I had the donut run going out that morning, go to the store to get donuts for everybody. There was 15 of us in the house. So he wanted to come along, so he came along, and I could tell he wanted to be along, but he was kind of fidgety. He was kind of, I could tell he was a bit nervous about asking, and we were almost at the same place on the road. And he did ask me if he could marry Jessica, and of course I told him yes. And then afterwards, I didn't realize that. Afterwards, that's about the same place where I asked Deb to get married.
When Don proposed to me, we were on our way to a dinner. I didn't know Don had the ring, and he couldn't wait to get to this showboat restaurant where we were going. And so he gave it to me in the car as he was driving. It was not, I guess, the most romantic, but he was so excited. But it happened, and Don thought about that after Ryan had asked him. He had thought about that afterwards, that it was in that same area where he had asked me to, marry him.
I said, well, Ryan, when is this going to happen? And he says, well, not this weekend, because we're all relatives, and I was busy with the game and everything else. So he said, it'll happen soon, in the next few weeks. Well, and of course I didn't tell him that. We kept a secret. It was very hard going back to the house with everybody not to say anything. And of course my dad was very upset with me when she found out that I knew I didn't tell her.
He held it in for a month. He was quiet because that night when Jessica called to tell us that, Ryan proposed, Shannon and I were all excited, and we turned around and I looked at Don, and he just got this look on his face, and he left the room. It was he knew already. So he did a real good job of keeping that quiet.
I don't know if I was thinking this is a day. I was like, let's go, let's get this party started. Sure, it kind of set in when you're getting ready a little bit. You know, all your planning and all the planning that Jessica did for the wedding, you know, from November when I proposed until this time, you know, it finally come full circle. And the anxiety started to set in a little bit, but I knew I was making the right decision and doing the right thing. So the nerves weren't there. Anxiety was just, you know, played sports all my life, like getting ready for a big game. Put on the boutonnieres in the church, you know, it was building up. Everybody asked me, "You ready? You can still back out." I know, I'm okay. You know, that was the popular question at the time, you know. I'm just waiting for the girls to get out of their vehicle and prepare, and all the guests to arrive. So I think I was pretty calm for the most part. Anxious, yeah, nervous. I wouldn't say quite nervous at that time, but it was just ready for it to happen. Excited.